Hey everybody, Women's History Month, is rounding out, coming to an end, but there's something we really want to talk about, and it's negotiating for yourself at work. So if you're out there, I encourage you to send in some questions because joining me today is Claire Wasserman, who's an educator and author and founder of Ladies Get Paid. She has a global community that really does champion the professional and financial advancement of women, and it's where women go to learn how to level up. Claire, nice to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, especially on our last day of Women's History Month.
I know it's coming to an end, but you know what? I feel like it never comes to an end because we certainly always have a lot to talk about. So I'm hoping that people are encouraged and want to send some questions because we're going to talk about all sorts of things. We're going to talk about your community, the book you have. We're going to talk about events you've got going on, but also what's really important is a lot of people leaving the workplace and a lot of people not getting paid what they should get paid when it comes to women in the workplace. So I'd love to start off introducing you to our audience. You run an organization called Ladies Get Paid. Talk to us more about that and how it got started.
Sure. So Ladies Get Paid started in 2016 because of a very sexist experience that I had that really just got me researching women, the workplace, the wage gap, the leadership gap. And I stumbled on these statistics that are just so bad when it comes to women at work and women with money. We are so far away from gender parity. And my feeling was, okay, I'm going to do something. The question, of course, was as an individual, what can you do to combat something that is so systemic and overwhelming? And my first thought was, you know what? I'm going to go ask for more money. How about that? I'm going to negotiate my salary because that's going to close my own wage gap. That is a way to take command. And from there, I just started finding coaches, career coaches, money coaches, and hosting workshops. Created a Slack group. Now we've got over 100,000 women from all 50 states, more than 120 countries. And here's what's even more wild is they've exchanged 2 million messages in that Slack group. So I guess I'm the only one who wanted to make more money.
Well, I got to tell you, it's so important, and it's actually such an uncomfortable conversation to have that I actually had it with a friend of mine today. She said, "I just don't know how to go in and ask for myself." So we're going to get to that in a moment, but we've hit the 2-year mark of the pandemic. So how has the pandemic, first of all, affected women in the workplace, perhaps differently or the same way or more than it has men?
Yeah, I'm going to start in a very sad place. So I'm going to talk about the bad stuff, and then I'm going to get hopefully encouraging for everybody here. So I think we've all been reading about the fact that women and women of color in particular, we're the ones who are leaving the workforce in millions of numbers. Okay, some of it seems to be our choice, but really I call it a forced choice. If you do not have adequate childcare and you have to homeschool, effectively homeschool your kids, oftentimes the default caretaker becomes the woman from how we are socialized, or maybe we already had some flexibility in our schedule. It's just become overwhelming. And so there were issues well before the pandemic as it relates to women in the workplace, women in wages. And the pandemic just exasperated it. So here's the good news. Number one, there's urgency to the conversation. I've been having this since 2016, but now everybody is. We all know that we need to do a better job of keeping women in the workforce, okay? Keeping women, paid appropriately. That will help the economy. But here's the other piece of good news is it is a hot job market right now, okay? We, the employees, we have more power than we realize. Companies are desperate to keep talent, to find talent. And so though we've seen women leave the workforce, mass exodus, there are jobs that are available. So I think there's an opportunity here. It can be exciting, but you know what? We're all really tired too. So I'm going to just be honest about that.
No, well, I agree with you. I am encouraged by something that LinkedIn did, which was help people, not just women, but help everybody kind of fill those gaps too when it comes to the resume. So it doesn't feel like
Yeah.
it's such a big thing and a mark against somebody, in particular women, when they're doing one of the forced leaves that we often see. So I was encouraged to see that happening. So I feel like there's a little more leeway when it comes to our job trajectories now.
Oh, I mean, when anybody looks at your resume and sees these years, 2019 to 2022, no one's going to question, oh, where were you
No,
during that time? Why were
no,
you on it? I mean, this is like the great evening, the leveling. We all get it in different ways. We've
right.
experienced, but we get it.
Well, so let me ask you this. let's talk about the elephant in the room because salary is just a huge one. Last
Yeah.
year, and I'm going to read this. Women earned, I want to get it right, 83 cents for every dollar made by the average man in the U.S.
Yeah.
How do we even begin combating that?
Okay. Well, man, it is so tough because the wage gap is both complicated. Okay. There's a lot of factors that go into it. It's also
Sure,
very straightforward.
sure.
One thing that I do want to say is the biggest wage gap, it's really for hourly workers. Okay. It's workers in certain industries like retail. It's the folks who were affected the most by the pandemic. I do want to acknowledge that. And also, here's the thing, and this is where it's a little bit, there's a solution. The wage gap really starts to widen when a woman has her first child. Okay. And it's called the motherhood penalty. When we
Okay.
all enter the workforce, it's all pretty much the same, but that's when there's a precipitous drop. And for
Hmm.
men, not the
Hmm.
case. When men have their first child, it's called the fatherhood bonus. They oftentimes get raises. So it's a longer conversation to be had. But if I had to pinpoint one time in a woman's career where the wage gap really happens, it's when they become a mom.
That is amazing, and but I've seen it time and time again. So it's not surprising. It's just sad that it's still going on. So for people that are currently working, and if a woman is in a high level position, how do they help implement policy changes so they can help other women that are coming up in the workforce? Because I see this, I'm seeing this more and more. I think I'm seeing the different generations kind of bridge the gap between people who have come before us and people who are coming up after us. How do you start to implement those kind of policies so we don't continue to see that?
Sure. I kind of look at change in three ways. First, it's as an individual, right? What can I do to improve my life and help the people around me? Then I look at it as sort of the company. What can the company do? And then, of course, policy, right? Local, state, federal. But let's begin with maybe policy. First of all, you can find great data about how supporting women, supporting marginalized folks at your company is going to impact the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, guys, this is about the money that the company makes. Anytime you want something at work, whether it's for yourself as a salary increase, let's say, or a policy change like paid family leave, you need to position it really as a benefit to the company. And there is data out there to support it. It's also not bad to go find the competitor companies, okay, where you work, see what they're doing, because your company, they need to compete with them for talent. Okay. So that's huge. The other thing is whatever policy that you want to go in there and advocate for, make sure you are not alone. Okay. And not only that, that you have allies with you, that it's
Sure.
you and men, you and people of influence. And by the way, when you do this, this is something I talk about in my book. You should also integrate this as part of the case you make for your own promotion and raise. You contributed to the company culture that helped retain talent. How wonderful is that? So not only are you helping the other people at your company, you need to get paid more for doing that too.
Well, I love when you talk about leveling up because it's so important. We're looking at your website there and how you can become a member and learn how to get paid what you deserve. But let's talk about your book because I see it there on the screen. You recently wrote a book about negotiating your salary and creating policy changes at your current workplace. So, where can people go to find the book, Ladies Get Paid?
Yes, everywhere and anywhere, including some airports that I just found out are carrying it.
Nice. Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
Ladiesgetpaid.com/book. And it is about real women going through real professional challenges and then real action steps. I'm sort of over this whole let's get inspired and talk. I'm about let's do something and let's do something on Monday. So I
Yeah.
feel really good that the book is going to give you those tangible takeaways.
I just think it's wonderful. I think that, if you inspire one person and they inspire one person,
Yeah.
then you see that action start to take place. And that's what's so important versus, keep talking about it in a circle. Well,
Yeah.
Claire, you're wonderful. It's so good to talk to you. If there's one thing that people need to take away, because people are, more and more creative nowadays, we saw people leave the workforce trying to make their dreams come true. What would you tell people to do if they're afraid, but they still somehow want to take a chance out there?
Okay, this is the best piece of advice I can give to everybody. Relationships. Okay, relationships will lead to opportunity. One person can change your life. You do not already need to be connected to get connected, although, of course, it's easier for some people.
Sure.
DM people, find them on Instagram, repost their stuff. Okay, we've made huge contacts and amazing things have come from it just from cold emailing. It's in the book. There's a way to do it, there's a way not to do it. But the
Yep.
point is, you got to shoot your shot. You have nothing to lose.
Ladies get paid. I absolutely love it. Claire, nice to see you. Thanks for being with us on this last day of Women's History Month, but certainly an important conversation. And for more stories like this, head over to pix11.com. See you later.
Thank
Bye, Claire.